It's October 30th, 2024. I am Adriel Pearl, and it's time to get in the weeds. A happy Wednesday to you. It's beautiful and sunny here in Toronto. I am not feeling oh so sunny. You can hear it in my voice. This time it's not sleep deprivation. This time I am actually sick. Jeremy Lambert is here to carry the show with me. Good morning, Jeremy. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Better than you, Joel. You sound like death.
I do. I'm old and I'm tired and I work with the freaking children. I can use that again, and this time I actually feel the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need the mana. Zeno hours got it. Come on, Joel. Mana.
And here we go. Listen, this weekend my wife and my kid got their flu shots, and the flu shot will typically give you flu-like symptoms because that's just how it goes. It's supposed to imitate. It was just like the COVID shot, same thing. It was supposed to imitate some symptoms, knock you down. So my kid got it, and of course I'm around my kid all day when he's not at daycare. And he definitely coughed and hacked in my face a few times, and I was like, well, it's game over for me. I'm gonna get it now. And here I am. It's not as bad. It sounds worse than I feel. I slept in today, luckily, but definitely feeling it in the throat, definitely feeling it here. But hey, whatever. I'm here and you're here, so we'll do what we always do, and that is overreact to everything in wrestling, because that's what we do, right? We overreact. Is that our show?
Maybe.
More or less. Maybe you'll leave a thumbs up on the video. How about that? No waiting 45 minutes to tell you about that one. Get the fireworks going, because here we are. And while you're doing that, you can go ahead and subscribe to us here on the channel at FightfulOverbook.com. And also, if you want to drop a super chat, any amount, get your question or statement read on the air, and it helps me feel a little bit better. That always helps. Hi, Jeremy. How are you?
Good. Didn't we already do this?
We did do this. I'm waiting for you to pop back in. What are we going to talk about today? We'll talk a little bit about Raw. We'll do a little NXT. AEW Fright Night is tonight. And of course, the big news coming out of yesterday. Ooh, are you scared? Are you scared for Fright Night in Cleveland? Are you going to go dress up as who knows?
No. I'm watching the Love is Blind reunion at 8 o'clock, not wrestling.
That's scary enough for everyone. Someone saying who's speaking. Oh, it's me. I'm just having a day. Yeah, it's not. Listen, it's not All Out 2021. The voice modulator is not on. This is just how I sound today. I've been speaking for the last hour to my wife. So this is this is an unwarmed up voice. This is me. This is my real voice right now. I'm just trying. So you guys get the real deal. Stop being a better version of yourself.
Looking at the real deal now. Woo! This is Joel Pearl's sorry voice.
Very much so.
I bleeped myself. Give me credit.
So I'm here, and this is it. And we love D'Lo on our show. Where should we? Yeah. So should we talk about the big news of yesterday, the one that got the wrestling world feeling a certain way. The WWE
Bobby Lashley's idea.
Okay, hold on. I know you covered this and it got some traction, so you know what? We'll talk WWE ID in a little bit, but let's unpack this for a second, because I didn't read the whole thing. I'm sorry, but you did listen to the whole interview and get the transcriptions and the answers to the question. Bobby Lashley wanted to do what with Gunther?
Not anything good. That's for sure. Bless Bobby Lashley. That man has no real filter on these podcasts. None at all. He does these podcasts and he speaks. It was the Lame Guys podcast. I'd not heard of this podcast. They'd only been around for a month. So it's not like this was some podcast that had been around for a while. They hadn't been around for very long. They got Bobby Lashley on their show. Good on them. And it wasn't even like a thing that was super brought up. They were talking about Omos and how Omos should be like an obstacle for people to overcome. And Lashley's basically everybody just wants to work with their friends. Everybody just wants to have good matches with their friends. It's easy to have good matches with your friends. Work with somebody you're not used to working with. Go out there and have a good match with someone who people aren't expecting a good match from. I was like, I get what you're saying, Bobby. I feel what you're putting down there. And then he talks about Gunther. And he's like, I wanted to work with Gunther. Okay, that would have been a cool feud. And then he starts talking about his ideas for the feud. I'm like, I don't know about those ideas, Bobby. It feels like you could just have a good match and talk about Oh, how you were a champion. Oh, he's a champion. Oh, he's a dominant force. You were a dominant force. He's a big dude. You're a bigger dude. He's like, there's enough story there. Doesn't feel like you got to go with uh, you people don't deserve the title, and you look familiar, but I can't. There it is. Yeah, thumbs up. There it is. I was, whew.
WrestleMania 19 was a hell of a time.
By Bobby. Interesting comments by Bobby, but good interview for people who have not listened to it. I think that if you haven't, Bobby said some fun stuff. Seems like a very likable, personable person. But those pitch ideas, can see why they were not listened to.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him the most creative planner in wrestling. There are certain things.
Remember when Bobby wanted to gain a bunch of weight and be depressed?
See, that was
ruled.
Fantastic. That was the best idea Bobby allegedly ever had. And I don't even know if that was Bobby. That could have been somebody else. I could have MVP be like, "Hey, I got an idea for you. We're gonna get you back into shape after you get yourself real nice and tubby. Let's go." But this one, man, could you imagine? It would have been funnier if Gunther was like, "I remember you and your 3 sisters. Let's talk about your 3 sisters and your trash family." And I don't know why he sounds like an old-timey 30s New Yorker.
Yeah, it was a weird voice. I don't know what you're about there.
I couldn't put on the German right now.
See, eh? What about your 3 sisters here, eh?
Hey, talk about your 3 sisters, see? That's gonna be on NXT next week. We'll talk about that in a little bit. This got some traction. It was sometimes the wrestlers don't need to do the creative side of the wrestling. Sometimes let one side have the ideas and not the inmates in this case. That was a wow.
You know, I've turned my account into an engagement account now because I'm tired of these actual engagement accounts taking everything I ever worked for. I'm gonna kick your effing ass. I can say that now, 7 minutes in, hopefully. So I've turned my account into an engagement account. So the moment I heard this comment, I was like, oh yeah. I posted it. And the wife was home. I'm just like, I just killed my mentions. And she's like, oh no, what'd you tweet? I was like, Bobby Lashley said some interesting things. And then she read it and she's like, oh, yeah. And then it's, Sean retweeted it. Wrestle Pierce was retweeting it. Oh, the Ice Cube Jr. was retweeting it. Like, it got out there. It got very out there. I was like, yeah, that ain't going to go. I did trick one person. Very hilarious. I'll call them out. I don't even know who they are. Like, I think they're just like an engagement account. Maybe they do something. It's Just Talk Wrestling. I have no idea if they're good, bad, neutral, or anything. But they deleted the tweet after they were alerted that I was a real person and not doing nonsense. But hold on, I actually have it. I screenshotted it because I thought it was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. So this person just tweets. Oh, there we go. Okay. They say, a lot of people are taking this post very seriously, but the account openly is satire based, and the source at the bottom is obviously intended to convey this. People need to read before reacting.
Oh no. No, not that. No.
So I thought about it. I was like, oh shoot. My bio is 95% of tweets are sarcastic and only meant to pop me. And the podcast had Lame Guys Podcast. Again, a podcast nobody had heard of. Like, it's not like this is some big prevalent wrestling podcast or even like a big news outlet or anything where it's like, oh yeah, that might be possible. So I fooled this person who thought I was a fake, and I was NBA Sentinel over here with my fake engagement account, Wrestle Oops. I'm pretty sure that's one of those fake engagement accounts, as opposed to the real engagement ones. But yes, and then people alerted him or her of, yeah, actually, like, Jeremy works for Fightful and wouldn't be doing this and does post real quotes. And so they deleted the tweet, but I screenshotted it in time before they did. I was like, oh man, I've always said, Joel, I've said it on this show and I've said it in private. When I'm done with all of this, when I finally retire and then the jersey gets hung in the rafters and everything, I'm going to do fake quotes. I'm going to just do all these fake quotes and get people riled up because my reputation is pretty good. I like to think my reputation is good to where, at least for a little while, people are going to believe these quotes. And then people are just going to get mad at me. And I don't care because I'm going to be out the game. Doesn't matter at that point. But when I do retire, you will see some very fake quotes. And I don't even know if I can make up something as good as Bobby Lashley gave me yesterday.
Bobby has given us someone did quote tweet it and said, so far Bobby pitched going on a losing streak, which leads to him overeating and gaining weight. We did mention that. Getting into a quote unquote real fight with Karrion Kross, which both sides have said this was an accurate depiction of planning, and then getting into a race baiting angle with Gunther. And then says, I have things I want to say, but I fear they won't be received well. Now, well, clearly Lashley had things he wanted to say because he has been saying them. And wow, yeah, this is. I'm just going through the quote tweets, and there's just a lot of feelings about this.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's fine. It's fine. Bobby's gonna debut tonight on AEW Fright Night Dynamite, and it'll all be forgotten.
You think it'll be tonight? You think they're gonna do it now and not wait until Full Gear?
Nah, they're gonna. I think the match is Full Gear. I think it's him and Swerve at Full Gear. So I think that's why the debut is tonight.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm all about it. I just, yeah, that is a hell of a way to introduce people to Bobby Lashley. Lashley should come out and be like, I had this idea. And everybody be like, we are not here to talk. We are here to pose. Now hit him with the hit him with the money shot.
Yeah. That'll be fine. That'll be okay. Big Bob Lashley. He's pretty untouchable. Feels like so.
I think, and people have kind of rightfully pointed out that if something like this had happened, people would have jumped down WWE's throat about it. And like there are, there's like levels to this because, yeah, like Lashley wouldn't come out at that point and be like, "Oh, it was my idea, blame me." I think it would kind of trickle down.
What if
it would have been bad?
What if this was his plan? What if it was he shouldn't have said it in this part, but like, what if this was his plan when he was in WWE? He's like, he's going to pitch this and then WWE and Triple H is going to get all the blame. And then he's going to be like, yeah, I don't know. I was just doing what they told me, man. He's just sabotage.
I'm just doing what I'm told and I hope to get rich.
Now he's come out and admitted it. So it doesn't work. But if this is his plan, that would have been pretty good plan.
As long as he doesn't try to do anything like this to, Swerve or Hangman or anything like that moving forward. Well, we'll see, man. I don't know. The creative roles between WWE and AEW are very different. The way that the creative process works, and like, there's a part of me that's like, oh, if Lashley gets to actually pitch and move things forward in AEW versus WWE, it's like, oh, something like that might actually happen in a place like that. But who knows? I hope that there are people in both companies that kind of put the kibosh to that stuff and say, we probably shouldn't do this one. But
I would think
you would think. However, history has shown that on all sides of wrestling, there's always that one idiot that says, let's try it. And this is not a tribalism thing. You can point to every company at one point has had that one moment where you're like, oh, we should not have done that. And that's in the moment reaction. That's not a 20 years later, they shouldn't have done it. That shit happens all the time. Bobby, what are we doing? he puts our fantasy booking to shame.
Yeah, I mean,
we've said some shit, but we've never gotten that far.
Well, we like to stay in on the air here. We're not going to be out here pitching.
We don't do enough for people to call for our heads. We just don't.
Our ideas are just dumb, like silly dumb. Yeah, our ideas are silly dumb. We're not advocating racial overtones or anything here.
No, we're not.
Definitely not.
That's why the idea of the overeating redemption gimmick was the best one Bobby ever.
Yeah. See, that's the kind of stuff like I could get behind. It's like, yeah, you go on a losing streak and you're depressed and you eat a bunch. All right, I can deal with that. I even think like the real fight thing isn't the worst idea in the world. And you get into a fight and it gets broken up, type of thing. Like, all right, sure, this is like probably shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff.
The
Probably
amount of people who would be being like, he's Austrian, he's not German. And then we'd
Yeah,
have
I had to clarify that in the article. I just
Dude,
wrote underneath the quote, Gunther is Austrian. Please, please make that known.
like there's this episode of House that I always go back to where House is making fun of Chase, who was the Australian doctor, and he says something like, "You're British," and he says, "No, I'm Australian." He says, "You put the Queen on your money. You're British." That's exactly the way this falls. You have the accent. You're German. I'm sorry. Oh God. How do you think Gunther feels about all this? He's probably like, ha 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 ha. Ha. Oh God, thank God we didn't do that. Now bring me my big oversized novelty title from Saudi Arabia. Great episode of Raw this past Monday, huh?
Was it? I don't know. What happened?
It happened. That's really all it was. There wasn't a ton that happened on Raw. It was just kind of a show. It was 2 hours. The Bloodline stuff. I guess this is really what we need to talk about. On Monday, you and I kind of started planting the seed about how Sami would come back, what it should be, and they almost did it to the way that we expected. He had some backstage interaction with both Usos and made things awkward with Jimmy, but also told Jay, "Are you sure this is what you want to do?" And then further on, something we didn't really see coming, which I guess we could have if we spent some more time on it, was the interaction between Solo and Sami out in the car. Solo and Sami had a pretty good relationship during Sami's Bloodline run, so it would make sense that they kind of tie that together a little bit. The Saudis love Sami, so let's see what happens. But what do you think of the Sami and the Usos stuff?
It was good. We talked about it on Monday. Well, Sammy's gonna get involved somehow, and we both just kind of said like, yeah, it'll probably just be like a backstage segment with Sammy and Jay of, hey, what are you doing here? What, you sure you want to do this type of thing? And they did that portion, and we said, oh, well, Jay will be like, hey, your family as well. That was not where they went. They went the opposite of like, you wouldn't understand. You are not family. I was like, oh, that's a little harsh, Jay. Why are you being a little jerk about things? I thought Jimmy could have delivered that line instead of Jay, and then it could have maybe flipped the roles. But I understand they couldn't have Sammy meet with Jimmy first, and I get the Jay having still. Jay was the one who didn't trust Sammy in the first place. Now they ended up coming around on each other, and then Sammy did. When he turned on Roman, like Jay was very upset about that. But then Sammy and Jay reunited on Raw and everything. Like the line made sense. I'm not trying to say that the line didn't make sense. There's just trying to maybe come up with other ideas on it. But the line made sense. Jimmy being the one of, hey, I'll go talk to him. And then he sees him talking to Solo, which was interesting. Again, little breadcrumb stuff. They didn't have to go full bore with everything here. They got a lot of weeks before Survivor Series, and they can give you just a little bit. It now leads to, they announced the Crown Jewel match after Raw, which I was like, why didn't you just wait until Friday? It's not like you're trying to sell tickets to this event. Maybe you are.
They are on sale. They're like $20, but they are on sale.
Okay.
It is a ticketed event. Remember, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a point where I think maybe in the first couple of shows, the tickets were like the equivalent of $2.50. Like they were very cheap because it was such a sold show. Now they're like, oh, we can make money on this shit. So,
yeah.
But they do sell tickets to the events. Maybe they give out free ones as well. I don't know. I'm not there, nor do I have people in Saudi who could tell me. But yeah, they do sell tickets.
Okay. Well, I know they sell tickets, but I just assumed, and maybe this is wrong of me, that most of these Saudi shows just get sold out or sold to large capacity anyway. So I wasn't too concerned about like the ticket buying aspect. Obviously, you're not trying to sell pay-per-views. They're on Peacock, so you don't have to worry about that of adding this last minute. I thought it could have, because we know we're going to get a segment with Jay Jimmy and Roman on SmackDown. And I mean, now it's not a spoiler anymore, but the spoiler coming out of that segment was the 6-man tag. So I thought they could have just waited and done that as is on SmackDown instead of announcing it after Raw on Monday. I thought that would have been maybe a better play, but maybe they got some stuff on SmackDown, some video pre-tape stuff that we're not privy to because it wasn't aired to the live audience. That makes it make a little bit more sense because I don't know if Sammy's going to Saudi or not. Like
He's going.
Not sure. You think so?
He's going for two reasons. One, he gets a big reaction when he goes, and two, they have Raw the next night, and he can easily just appear on Raw. I think he's going, and he also, because he speaks the language, because he speaks Arabic, he's great for media appearances here and there. I expect him to go, and I expect a big pop when he goes to save Roman and the Usos at the end of that match, and there's a beatdown going down between 4-on-3.
I don't know if that's what they're gonna do.
I do. That's what I expect. I'm not saying I know anything, but just it feels to me like the way that they're going to get Sami back in this thing is Sami comes out to be part of whatever this match becomes, and he gets in on the post match angle. I'm assuming that they filmed something on Friday that furthers this thought, but I don't know what they're going to do. SmackDown is taped this week. There are spoilers up on Fightful.com. We're not going to give you spoilers here, but you can go find those. Raw is live in Riyadh. This is for someone asking in the chat. And then SmackDown after that is also live from the US. They'll be back by then.
I don't know if I'm doing the Sami save in Saudi. I know it's going to get a big reaction. I don't know if I'm doing it there. I think I'm just doing Bloodline wins the match, and maybe you still do a beatdown, but there's no save, and then you further the angle on Raw. It feels too soon to just do the reunion. Like there's got to be more to it, especially if we don't know if they're filming anything for SmackDown. Based on the spoilers, there's nothing live that happened with Sami and Bloodline. So maybe there's some backstage, but don't know. So the last thing we would have seen was Sami talking with Solo, and then he's just going to save Roman, Jay, and Jimmy. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Like I said, I feel like Sami will come out and make the save for the good guys.
But why?
Why? Because he's linked to the Usos.
So the last time he was talking to Jay told him he's not family.
And on Friday, there could be something that absolutely reconsiders this. Or maybe Sami has a bad
a backstage segment is how they're going to do the reconsideration. Roman doing some backstager with Sami.
No, I think it's more likely that they'll have Solo interacting with Sami. And yeah, like Bargov's saying, like it's a Saudi pop. It's going to be that moment. That is, and I don't necessarily agree that. I do agree with you that it could be done better. But I think if they're booking for the moment here, that's the beginning of the moment. Does that turn into something down the line? Sure, that could easily be like Roman being like, you did that for yourself. You did that because you knew that these people would love you. Blah blah blah. You took advantage of a situation. But why should we trust you? You could turn it into that, but for all intents and purposes, it feels like Sami shows up in Saudi, gets that big pop, helps out the Usos, and then they say, well, what's he going to do next? What are we going to see on Monday? Because again, if you're taping in Saudi and you know you're going to get that reaction again for Sami, then you're going to want to play it up again the next night for the Saudi show, for the Raw in Saudi.
But what if you just do Sami on the Raw in Saudi? That's where the pop is. You're going to get the pop. I don't think the save needs to be in Saudi. I think
it's 4-on-3. Who else is going to help them?
Nobody.
Roman's not going to do that. Roman's not going to be like, yeah, let us get beat down because we could do that every single week.
What do you mean? Roman has been getting beat down.
He's getting beat down on TV, but he ain't getting beat down in matches or post matches. Like I'm saying, he's not. in the match, he always comes out the winner in these things, and we continue to be like, what if the bad bloodline finally gets the win? And then they don't, and we sit there just rubbing our temples, being like, he should have done this a little bit better.
But Roman doesn't have to lose the fall. Jimmy can lose it. Jay can lose it.
I know Cody could have dropped the fall in their tag match at Bad Blood.
Way different scenario. Cody's the friggin' champion. Like I agree he could have lost. He's the champion.
He could have done it. It would have been fine.
Jimmy loses every week on TV. Who cares? Jay just lost on TV. Like they could easily take the fall, especially if you want to put Solo over. You want to put Jacob Fatu over. Why wouldn't the Bloodline win 4-on-3 and that be that?
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just thinking in terms of like, how are they going to progress this story? And for them, the beatdowns are a TV thing. At the pay-per-view, someone usually makes some sort of save. Some sort of big moment happens, and that progresses you to the next Monday show. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's just the way that they've been doing it, or the way they have done it in the past, usually leads to something along those lines.
I think they've changed that direction a little bit over the past year or so. I mean, I'll use Money in the Bank as an example. There was no big save at the end of that show. It was just Solo pins Cody to set up the SummerSlam match. That was it. That was how that show closed. Solo pinned Cody in that 6-man tag. You were there, Joel. Like you saw it.
I mean, I was like up in the 1700 level. I couldn't see shit down there.
Okay, but that's what happened. Like,
okay,
there was no
because I didn't see the show.
Okay, but there was no big save or anything off of that. SummerSlam was SummerSlam. Different scenario there. Bad Blood, you had The Rock return. And so they did that. I don't know if you need some big save off of it. It doesn't make sense. Sami just coming in and making the save doesn't make any sense.
If they're going and beating down Jay specifically, then it makes sense.
No, why?
Because Jay's the only one that Sami likes.
The last time, then they got to do some type of backstage segment on Friday.
Then that's what I'm saying, is that something on Friday needs to motivate this for what I'm saying.
Okay, let's pretend nothing. There's nothing on Friday. We know what we know from the spoilers. We don't know, was Sami in the building for this double taping? Like, we don't even know if Sami was there. I guess they technically could have taped something on Raw, and then aired it. But let's pretend they didn't. Let's pretend there's nothing on Friday because we have no indication of that. Based on what we know, let's go with this. Based on what we know, why would Sami Zayn make a save on Saturday?
Based on what this is the problem. We don't know.
Okay, so let's talk about what we do know instead of trying to just cast assertions of, hey, maybe this will happen. Maybe that will happen. Because let's actually talk about what we know.
Because of the way they pulled that cliffhanger on Monday, it doesn't feel like they're going to make you wait past Crown Jewel to see what that was about, or at least introduce why Sami was talking to Solo, or if Sami and Solo have some sort of relationship bond or whatever, what that conversation was. They'll probably ask Solo Sikoa, you were seen outside of the venue on Monday talking to Sami Zayn. What was that all about? And then Solo says something like, oh, we're best friends. He works with us now. And then everyone's like, oh, that's he's lying, but he's not lying, or he is lying, but you don't know for sure. That could be part of the story. And Sami says, I never worked for you. We had a conversation. You said hi. We were talking. I don't know what the story is, but they're going to do something on Friday because it just makes sense from a storyline standpoint to have that included on Friday. This is your A1 story. You don't just let it drop for a week. It doesn't make sense to do that. So something has to happen on Friday to motivate something for the Saturday show.
But we don't know that.
But historically, we do know that something is going to happen, because historically, you don't just ignore your number one program.
What if it's not? It doesn't have to be ignored. What if it is? Hey, what was the chat with Sami about? And Solo just says, "That's between us." That's it. Why does he have to give any further insight?
Maybe Sami then makes the save, and despite everything, he says, "I'll explain on Monday."
Why does he make the save though?
Because he was connected to Jay, and he wants to be family, and he wants to support the Usos specifically.
But the last time he talked to Jay said, "You're not family."
Well, now he is. This is my family, he says, with the Saudis behind him being like, yeah, you're our family. And then we're back.
This sucks.
Let
This
them tell
idea
the story.
sucks.
Then
It
let
doesn't
them
make any sense.
then let them tell the story on Friday that makes it suck less.
Okay. Like I hope they do tell a better story than the one you're trying to throw out there. Because I
Yeah,
think the
because I'm
story
sick and my brain is foggy. Let me have this.
it's fine. I'm just saying I think if they do this, it would suck.
Sammy should absolutely just come out and say, I'm with you, Oos, and then everyone look at him and be like, what? And that's it. They just blow past the problem.
Okay.
And then everyone should just be okay with it.
I liked what happened on Monday. I like that it did throw some doubt into where Sammy stands with the Usos because it would seem like him and Jay would be on good terms because of everything that they've gotten past and being friends again on Raw. But then they threw doubt on that with Jay saying, hey, you're not family. And then Sammy talking to Solo. We don't know what those conversations were. We don't know what the follow up's going to be on Friday. We do know we're going to get the Bloodline OG against the Bloodline New against at Crown Jewel. We'll see how that kind of plays out. I don't think you got to give too much away in that. I think you can just do a straightforward match. OG Bloodline gets a win, or not OG, sorry. New Bloodline gets a win. Because if you think about it, Cody and Roman won at Bad Blood. You're just going to have these three just getting the up again at Crown Jewel. And then we all assume they're going to get the up at Survivor Series. I mean, maybe OG Bloodline doesn't win at Survivor Series, but you're basically going to have OG Bloodline just get the up 3 straight shows. That makes the new guys look weak. I understand people already think of them as sort of weak. You gotta they're getting television beatdowns and everything. You gotta give them something on your big shows. This is your opportunity. It's a Saudi show. This is the opportunity to give them something. Have them win 4-on-3. Follow up on everything on Raw.
Yeah, I agree that they should absolutely win. And then I think Zeno Hour hits it. Sammy's a good guy. He does the right thing no matter what. The right thing in this case is helping the people that he likes, the good guys. And
The
the good guys in
last
this case are the
time,
Usos.
but does he like them? He likes Jay, but the last time he talked to Jay, Jay said, "You're not family."
That's fine. That doesn't deter somebody from helping because you tell someone you're not family. You can still love someone, or you can still be a friend to somebody, even though you're told you're not family, you don't fully understand. You can still support that person. And if that person that you like and you support is getting beat down by his rivals, then you come out and you save them because you're a good guy. That's what it comes down to. That's why it has to be Jay that's getting beat down by these four. That's when you cue Sammy. That's when he comes out to make the save. Not when Roman's getting beat down, not when Jimmy's getting beat down. It has to be Jay because Jay is the only white meat babyface of the entire story. That's
but why is Solo a bad guy to Sami Zayn?
Because he's been beating up the Usos and he's been taking stuff from them, especially Jay. Cost Jay his Intercontinental Championship.
That's family business. Why Sammy and Solo got no
he did underhanded things to get the title off of Jey Uso, off of his brother.
So did Roman.
We're not talking about Roman. We're talking about Jay. We're talking about his dog.
Why was Solo? But Solo and Sammy never had issues. That's why I thought the conversation or the little tidbit on Monday was interesting because, yes, Solo, he never had an issue with Sammy. He welcomed Sammy. He was fine with Sammy. What if there's a bigger friendship there than Sammy and Jay? What if Solo said, hey, you are family to us?
Maybe he also told him that he's going to use him and abuse him. We don't know what he told him.
Why would he say that to him?
Well, why do we don't know what he said is my point.
Okay, but so again, let's do what we do know. We do know that Sammy has no real issue with Solo. We do know that Solo has never said to Sammy, hey, you're not family.
Again, I go back to what I was saying before, where Jay is the only white meat babyface throughout this whole story. And when you love someone and support them, you go back for them no matter what. And if the bad guys, Solo included in this case, are whipping the guy that you said you would ride for no matter what, you make the save because that person wronged that person. And you are supporting the person who was wronged. Because again, Sami, white meat babyface, does everything the right way no matter what.
Why does he have to make any type of save? Why does he have to get involved? Why can't he just chill?
Because
he's also saving.
When was
He's
the last
also
time
saving.
Sami chilled. When was the last time Sami just chilled and said, I'm going to hang out back here instead of go do something about this?
But he's also saving Jimmy and Roman. I understand. I get what you're saying. Oh, he's only going to save Jay because Jay is the guy who is getting beat down, but he's still helping Jimmy and Roman. Why does he get involved at all? What if Solo is just
because he's already outnumbered. This group is already outnumbered 4-3. So the white meat babyface in wrestling is going to even the odds. I can tell you it's God, I was about to use someone I didn't want to use. It's Sami. Sami is that guy. It could be Cody. Let's say Cody wasn't booked on the show. Cody comes out. He's white meat babyface. He's going to come out. He's going to even the odds because that's what the white meat babyface does. And for people who are like, why is he's still helping Roman? Why would he do that? He's not helping Roman. The match is over. The beatdown is happening. He's going to clear house so that he saves his friend who is getting beat down in this, again, hypothetical, because this is what we're working with. The idea being that he's saving Jay. He's not saving Roman. He's not saving Jimmy. He is there to support Jay. And then he leaves. And that's it. He could easily flip off the other two members and be like, I'm out. But I did my job. I saved my friend. See you on Monday.
I still don't get why he's saving Jay after Jay said, you're not family. Why get involved at all? I understand. White meat babyface.
Also, they're friends. They're still friends. I can tell you the same thing, and you're gonna.
They're friends, but you know what? If your friend says something to you of like, "Hey, you're not family. I don't like you. Let me handle my own family."
I don't like you. He did not say once. He did not say I don't like you.
Okay.
He said, "Well, you're not family. You don't understand." That's and people say
okay.
all the time.
Okay. If he says you're not family, you don't understand. If he's getting beat down and I'm like, I got no issue with Solo and these other guys. They ain't done anything to me. This man just told me I'm not family. I don't understand. You know what? I don't understand. I'm not going to get involved. Let me just do nothing. Your argument is white meat babyface. He's a babyface, so he has to help. Why?
You just answered it. Welcome to wrestling, where nothing is above storytelling 101. No one's ever attempted to, and that's not true. People who have attempted to go above storytelling 101 and try 102 have often been met with where's the story or other bullshit that they just.
But is it him not getting involved still a story because there's more to do?
No, because of the interaction is, and I would go this far to defend an AEW story if the story was good. If the story is good, if it's been years long.
This isn't good, Joel. Sami saving him is not good.
Sami was an initial part of this story when it got hot. It absolutely counts. There's a history. And when you have a history and you can harken back to that history, why do you get involved? Is because you go and you save the people in the burning building. And the burning building in this case are those three guys.
Isn't there a story of him not getting involved, though? And then on Monday, him and Jay have a backstage and maybe Jay has to make amends and say, I'm sorry for what I did. Maybe Jimmy and Sami have to have a conversation. Maybe we do get more insight into Solo and Sami. And maybe Sami's like, yeah, you told me I wasn't family. You told me I wouldn't understand. So I talked with Solo. Solo was very welcoming to me. There's a story of him not saving them as well and just letting them play out and getting beat down 4-on-3, because we all assume Sami is going to be on the OG Bloodline side, right? That's the assumption. Everyone is basically just booked this, and like it's the correct way to go. Well, that's obviously where Sami is. So you're gonna get to that point at some point. Like we talked about on Monday, you've got 9 shows before you get there. Why do you got to just do it now? Why do you have to give that beat now when you have 9 shows before Survivor Series? There's got to be some remorse for this stuff instead of just the explanation being Sami Zayn, white meat babyface. Hey, go make the save. Roman's got to do something. Jay's got to say something. Jimmy's got to say something.
It's his first interaction with Roman is by saving the brother. It's by saving Jay. And Roman says, I didn't realize that you were going to come to our help. And Sami says, I wasn't there to help you. I was there to help the only one I liked, and that's Jay. And that's how you motivate that's how you motivate the moving forward of the story. Roman just gives him that look. And I know Henry's being a little sarcastic, but like, we all know that look Roman has. The what are you doing here? Why aren't I in control look? That's what it is. Sami comes out and he takes matters into his own hands. He's in control of this. And his control is saving his friends, or saving his friend, singular in this case. That's what the beginning of the story is for this. You've already introduced that Sami is going to play a role in this. You've already introduced that Sami is going to feel a certain way about being a part of the family, or not in the blood family, but the bloodline family. It makes sense for him to at least be a part of wanting to save his friends in a hypothetical beatdown. He's still friends with Jay. That's the only person he has to save to even things up. Clear the ring for Jay, because Jay's getting beat down. And then you move forward to Monday and you tell whatever story's left. Why'd you come out there, Oos? And then you start the monologue from there. And you can put as much tension as you want, but this is just another beat. Why did Sami come out? He's there to help his friend, but he's not there for Roman. He's not there for Jimmy, until they motivate the reason for that. That's when you got 10 episodes to go.
Okay.
That's how I see that story.
Okay.
My God, people are saying Jeremy is wrong in the chat. It's happening. Am I having a fever dream?
That's fine. Maybe.
Oh my God. Is that real?
Jeremy. I don't know if either of us are wrong. Like,
no, I know. I understand. I understand.
It's a fantasy booking discussion at the end of the day.
Yeah, right? No, I understand the spirited discussion we have. That's why nothing really changes. Our things are still the same. I still like you, bro. You're just not my family.
Nah.
Don't ever save me from a burning building. We're not friends anymore.
Oh, don't worry about that.
You won't climb 28 flights of stairs? What's wrong with you? Fine, your 27 kids can all burn too. What do I care? Oh God, what are we doing here? Anyway, let's what else happened on Raw? Damian Priest was upset. His New York Yankees.
Yeah, we called that one.
Yeah. Yankees are big old losers.
We said the Yankees game should dictate if Priest wins or loses, and the Yankees were losing, so Priest lost.
People were very quick to point out, like, oh, Damian Priest looked like he had a bit of an upset look on his face, coming to the ring. I'm like, yeah, I was probably watching the Yankees game. He probably was like, we're done. Oh man, yeah, this is the thing that happened. It was fine. Priest losing though, I mean, I know the Priest wants to be done with Judgment Day. I get it, but like, you kind of have to finish off whatever that story is. On the other hand, Priest and Balor was the only story going on, and instead Priest beat the shit out of Carlito afterwards to motivate that match, which I'm sure will be next week. I don't know, man. I'm ready for Damian Priest to move on too, but Dom Mysterio gets the win over Damian Priest.
I'm all for Dom winning matches. I think you gotta do a little bit more with him to make him not necessarily stronger, because he's a chicken shit heel, right? He doesn't need to be booked super strong, but at some point you do have to give him some wins so people buy into him a little bit more when he actually gets in the ring. So I'm all for like him winning in this fashion. I just can't possibly care about Priest and Judgment Day feuding any longer. It felt over at Bad Blood when Priest beat Balor pretty decisively, and I don't need it anymore. What's the end game here? Priest then beats Dom, or it beats Balor? Like, I don't know. I don't need it. I would have preferred Dom beating somebody else, or Priest just getting wins as he said he was going to do and moving on and doing something different. I just don't need this feud anymore.
You think Triple H in the back with Damian and Dom was like, okay, you're from New York. You are from the state of California. Whoever is winning in this World Series game, by the time we put you out, that's the winner of the match. And he was like thinking to himself, Triple H is like, oh man, the Yankees have got to be winning this one, right? It's their time. And then they get out there and like, oh shit. All right, do a roll-up finish. We got to get through this. And that's when everything just kind of broke loose. I agree with you. I'm ready for Damian Priest to be past this. I'm ready for whatever Judgment Day is supposed to be to just move along. Tag titles are going to be a thing soon for the big head and for Balor. They're going to take on War Raiders. They didn't get a New Day match out of this, which I wish they had. But War Raiders, they defeated New Day and Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio because Xavier Woods decided to run across the ring and take out Rey Mysterio towards the end of the match. That was something else. What do you think? War Raiders versus the Irish people later on.
That's fine. It'll be a good match. I'm curious to where it goes because they can do 6-man tags with Priest and War Raiders against Judgment Day. I don't know if War Raiders are going to win the titles, but it's not like Priest and McDonough have done anything. Or sorry, Balor and McDonough have done anything with the titles. Oh, I thought there was a story with New Day, regardless, had they won this match and lost the titles or losing this match and now not getting a shot at the titles. Like New Day feels like the story here. And then we did get Chad Gable and Rey Mysterio, LWO. Looks like we're going to get American Made and LWO. Like that's a fine little feud. War Raiders they're back. I'm glad both guys are healthy. I just don't know what the actual, like where they're going with them besides, hey, we might put the titles on them, but they don't really, the feuds are elsewhere. Just the feuds are elsewhere.
I'm wondering, War Raiders and Priest, is that a good trio to go up against Judgment Day?
It's not a good trio to go against Judgment Day because I've seen Priest and Rhea just kill all the members of Judgment Day by themselves. So
that's kind of what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Yeah. This is no knock on War Raiders. This is more just how they've booked Judgment Day and Priest. Like they've already had Priest look dominant against the entire faction. So him like needing War Raiders, I'm not super sold on that. I just feel like this is why the Dom victory was important, to give him a little bit of credibility. I just don't have much interest in Priest and Dom. I just don't have much interest in Priest and Judgment Day. Like I've seen it since SummerSlam, and it's been, obviously Priest has been linked to them for much longer. Like, can we get Priest outside of this Judgment Day bubble? Kind of same thing with Rhea Ripley. I did like that on last night's NXT. At least Liv and Raquel got a beatdown on Rhea as opposed to just losing and getting destroyed as they've been what's been happening. But I mean, for both of them, they've been in the Judgment Day bubble. It'd be cool if they won. They won. I get you got to do a one-on-one Rhea and Raquel match at some point because that's what was set up at Bad Blood. For Priest, he beat him. He should be moving on to other things.
Yeah, and that's why I brought it up, is because as cool of a threesome as that looks, the people that they would be going up against just makes little to no sense given how Priest has moved on and already beat the team with Rhea. It should just be done. But yeah, let's talk. We talked about New Day a little bit, but also in the periphery is the Miz and R-Truth and Karrion Kross and all that stuff, because on Raw Talk, they did show New Day arguing in the back while Miz was getting abducted by members of the Wyatt Six. But really the shining star of all this, other than Karrion Kross, is R-Truth, basically knocking out Miz and saying, "You're gonna die." And we're all like, "Oh, all right, he's back, baby." This is fun, silly 2-hour Raw fodder. What do you think of what's going on with Miz and Karrion Kross and R-Truth and all that stuff?
I'm very glad that R-Truth was not stupid and fell for this trick and understood that, yeah, Miz cannot be trusted. And the Wyatt Six, they got a new feud with Miz and Final Testament. That's good. I think a QR code popped up during the middle of the AOP entrance on or not AOP. It popped up at some point on Raw. I don't remember what entrance it was, but I feel like it popped up. Maybe I'm just completely misremembering things. But look, I'm glad that the Wyatt Six are doing something different. They're out of the feud with American Made. They've moved on. American Made has moved on. So it's fine. We'll see how it goes. You know, it's a 2-hour Raw, so they have to squeeze some stuff in on Raw Talk and do some stuff on socials, which is okay. A Final Testament Wyatt Six feud can be good. I don't know if it can be. I don't know if it's gonna be for me. I love the goofy Wyatt Six stuff, but they're veering into a serious presentation, and I don't want a serious presentation. Now, this is my issue with Final Testament: is they take themselves very seriously, which they should. You know, you don't want to just be a comedy gimmick or anything. Like they very much believe in their craft. They very much know they like how they want to be portrayed. It's just that kind of stuff is not for me. Yeah, I always say Bray, what I loved about him is like, yeah, there was some serious stuff to it, but like he had that comedy charm about him that the Wyatt Six don't really have. They want to do the serious, spooky kind of horror stuff, which is fine. They do it very well. That stuff just isn't for me.
At what point do the Wyatts go after a title?
Not this again. Apologies. I thought there was a QR code that popped up, but apparently I was wrong.
It happens. Listen, when
was there a screen glitch or something, or was it just my feed? Maybe that's what I'm getting confused.
I mean, my favorite was Denise last night. You're talking about the beatdown with Rhea. She tweets out, "Who beat down Rhea Ripley?" And everyone was like, "We saw Liv and Raquel with the bat." And Denise was like, "Oh, my glitchy feed." And I wanted to be like, you could have just been saying you were taking notes. It's okay. Taking a bite of a cookie. I get it. I look away from the screen.
No, legitimately, like it was during the tag team. It was during the tag team entrances. This is why I thought it was tied together. And like something glitched out on my TV. I thought it was a QR code, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't glitched at all. Again, maybe it was just my feed, and that's why it happened the way it did.
Could have been one of those rolling Ohio acid rain thunderstorms.
Very, very much could be.
They're common.
Be.
I only bring up the title thing. And I know we've talked about it ad nauseum, but is there a point where there will be a point where they cannot become the purveyors of familial justice? Because how many times can you do the same story where so-and-so does something wrong to their family and now we have to fix it and show you that family is great and you should repent for your sins, which Chad Gable did not do. He just turned heel. Like, what do you do with the Wyatt Six after a while? Because inevitably there might have to be some sort of, if the family means holding all the gold. And it's like, I don't think so, but okay, tell me more. Is there a point where they go after a title? Because you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again.
I got it, Joel. I got it.
I'm hearing you.
Friday SmackDown. Uncle Howdy's in a room with Sami Zayn.
Let's go.
And Uncle Howdy says he didn't mean it. Family fights all the time. Just because he said you weren't family and you don't understand, he didn't mean it. Think about all the good times that you and Jay had. Think about feeling Usi. Think about my dog. Think about that little gimmick right there. Like Uncle Howdy does that.
I was gonna say he does it. Yeah. He was gonna be like, you could do that. Okay.
Yeah. Think about all of that. That's your brother. You were Sammy Uso. That is your real brother right there. Sammy just thinks about it. And then we get the long shot of Sami Zayn contemplating. And then on Saturday, he saves Jey Uso, just like I've been saying. He saves Jey. It all makes sense. The Wyatts bring Sami Zayn back to the Usos.
It's exactly how I would do it. Thank you. I'm glad that we had this discussion. I'm glad we went this far. I'm thinking about how far the Wyatts can go and what you can really do with them given the circumstances of the storytelling with them. It can't just be the same story over and over where the story doesn't even end with something good happening other than the Wyatts win. Like what? Oh, Chad Gable, you wronged your family. We are going to fix you because of this, or we're gonna show you that you can't do that. And then what does Chad Gable do? He finds another family after he's a big old loser. Like nothing happened there. So what do you do with something like the Wyatts who might just be doing this again with Miz and the Final Testament and blah blah blah? And like it's funny and it fits. You know what I'm trying to say? Like the two sides of this story fit. Miz being a part of this thing is perfect because there's some history with members of the Wyatts, especially Dexter Lumis and the kidnapping stuff that Miz did at one point with him. That works, and also it's comedy fodder. It's whatever. The Wyatts are not a serious team right now. Could you get there? Absolutely, but like there will be a point where they say we want gold of some sorts. Maybe tag team. Maybe they want to go after Braun Breaker because Braun Breaker wronged his family. I don't know. It's just I keep thinking about this. Is at one point the Wyatts are going to have to change direction and change course from what they've been doing.
I don't know if they do. I don't know if they're going to. It just feels like they're going to keep doing spooky stuff until they can't do spooky stuff
Bless
any
them.
longer.
Bless them. Make all the money in the world. That's fine. Let them take over. You know what? Tomorrow's Halloween. Let them take over the WWE Twitch again. And like they've got kidnapped Miz tied to a chair for 24 hours. And he's just reading Shakespearean literature.
What if the therapist comes out? Like
the therapist shrinks Miz for 24 hours on Twitch. I like this. On Twitch. Nobody uses Twitch anymore. So let's just use our WWE Twitch for this shit. Yeah, I don't even know anymore. Oh man. Anything else?
I think at some point they might go after gold, but probably not anytime soon.
I hope not anytime soon, but it's inevitable that they will try because that is the point of wrestling, is to be the best and win the championship gold that best describes whatever you're in, whether it's a tag team or the women's championship or whatever it is. It's just kind of the way I see it. Unless you're Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins, at which point you don't care. You just want to beat the shit out of each other and wear the same jacket twice. Man, that was your glitch right there. That's what you saw. You thought it was a QR code. No, it was just Seth Rollins taking off his jacket to reveal the same jacket. It's Sting! Anyway, this was fun. Are they going to still do this match in Saudi? Because there's a lot of matches on that card.
Yeah, I joked of like, oh shit, Triple H saw that there was like 7 matches on the card. It's like, no, that's too many. We got to cut some of this. So he just ended up, Seth is now injured and can't travel. And so they've cut the match. I truly believe that's gonna happen.
And I'm of the belief that they're gonna start the match in Saudi, and then it's not like it's gonna start, but they're gonna call a no contest early, and then they're just gonna do it on Raw the next night or whenever they're taping it. That's kind of my feeling. Seth will go, they'll start it just to start it, and then they'll just cancel it, and say, oh, it's too chaotic. We're gonna do it. It's gonna be last man standing, monster
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I don't know. Someone tried to wear a bikini. It didn't go over well, so we're gonna have to try it again tomorrow, and it'll be whatever. Oh, by the way, this is funny. WWE Twitch is still in use for the Raw sidecast and the WWE Vault watch along. Okay, the WWE Vault, the watch alongs, I get it. Those are fun. Let me tell you about the Raw sidecast. I spent months looking at the Raw sidecast, checking in. I was checking in. I wasn't watching. And it was, at the beginning, there was 3 of them. And it was Mega Morant, Ryan Papola, and someone else who I don't remember anymore. They would be watching Raw and just like, oh yeah, that looks good. Damian Priest looks really good. Hey guys. Yeah. Hey, look, CM Punk. How great is it to have him back? Huh? Anyway, and then
how's it feel to be alive in the WWE Twitch?
If CM Punk ever did anything on their Twitch, I would be so surprised. Anyway, have you ever watched the sidecast? It's not, it's sad.
No, you did that, so I didn't have to.
Now it's Papola, and then Mega Morant used to jump on for the first hour and a half, and then Papola would just like turn it off by the end of the second hour. I don't know what they do now. I haven't watched it in the 2-hour era. I'm kind of still surprised they're still doing it. But like Ryan Papola doesn't do any more on-screen stuff that I'm aware of because the bump is gone and he was their magic wall John King wannabe guy. That was it. Yeah, let's get a sub train showing.
Magic what?
Oh, you know the magic wall that CNN does? When they do
You're
like all
giving me too much credit for
I
watching CNN.
there. I'm a news junkie, so I watched all news from all places that are not crazy. And the magic wall is whenever there's an election, John King, who's like the election guy, has this magic wall. It's like a TV with a touchscreen, and it has a bunch of like you can dig deeper into the values of everything. Yeah, you've seen this. So like Ryan would do that for the bump, when really it's just him pressing.
Did he?
Yeah, but he didn't have a magic wall. He just had a TV that had a clicker on it, and that's how he did it. So great.
Yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about now because I do watch. That's about the only time of the year I turn on CNN is like election night.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, CW is going to have their own election night coverage, so it's going to push NXT next week to Wednesday. It's going to be ECW NXT. And I know you and I have been talking about it, but you've been absolutely all over this shit. ECW, it's going to be the one night stand of NXT next Wednesday. And
I'm telling you the reasoning for this, Joel.
Say it again because I think the people need to hear it.
The reasoning is it's up against AEW, and they're gonna say, "Oh, well, we put all these nostalgia acts, we put all these ECW acts." That's who AEW beat. They beat a brand that died 30 years ago. Or NXT ECW is going to win, and they're going to say, look what we did. We took this nostalgia brand, and we beat the alleged number 2 promotion in America. That's why they ain't putting main roster stars on there. They got no main roster people. It's all people from 25 years ago. And then they added Jordan Grace so they could also just be like, see, we had a TNA person on here to further push the second promotion agenda out there. Not main roster people. Those people thinking, oh, we're going to get Cody. We're going to get CM Punk. Granted, we were 2 of those people. We thought they were setting up a CM Punk Ethan Page match, and maybe they will. CM Punk's an ECW legend. Maybe they will at some point. They ain't doing it for this show. They ain't bringing all these main roster people and acting like, oh, this is going to be a big show, and then potentially stacking it with main roster people. No. This was an ECW nostalgia show. That's all you beat. Big deal.
They would have called it NXT One Night Stand, but the wrestlers would have taken that literally.
Wow.
Never in my life. Wrestling used to be a don't shit where you eat thing.
That's not true at all.
It used to be.
It was never that.
You're right. It wasn't that, but it was always don't date wrestlers. Like you don't date another wrestler. It's just not a good idea.
Never that.
Man, now they're just saying it. They're just saying it out loud. It was that. It had its moments.
It was never that. It was maybe hey, maybe you shouldn't do this. It was never that. Nobody listened to that. I
blame Triple H. I blame Paul Levesque. Look what it got him.
He doesn't want to be on TV. You can't blame him.
That's true. He doesn't want to be there. But he'll be at the 2300 arena, I'm sure. Actually, maybe not. He might be on a flight. Actually, no, they'll be back by then. So far announced for the show, RVD is going to be there. Billy Ray is going to be there. Dawn Marie is the special guest referee. Francine has said that she will be there. They basically told you without telling you that Nunzio and members of the FBI will be there to deal with Tony D'Angelo. And then there was a Fightful Select report about Lita being pitched a match, being part of a major women's tag match. And they announced that there will be a 10-woman tag to basically an all-star women's tag. To which everyone said one of these things is not like the other, who's going to be taken out and replaced by Lita, myself included. And everyone's sitting there saying it's Kalani Jordan. But what do you think? Is Lita going to be a part of this match? Is she going to make an appearance? Is this just in and out? Like, what are we doing here?
Oh, I think she'll be part of it. I don't know if she's going to wrestle. Here's what they're going to do, Joel.
Okay, go ahead.
You know what this show is severely lacking?
Randy Orton.
Special guest referees. Lita as the special guest referee for the 10-woman tag. Rob Van Dam as the special guest referee for Javon Evans and Wesley. That's what we need. 2 special guest referee matches. More, because we already got Dawn Marie as a special guest referee, but we need more. ECW special guest referee night.
Did they make it official that Rob is a special guest enforcer or a referee?
No, that's
okay. They really that was the weirdest finish I've ever seen. Like it was the most Rob Van Dam thing ever. Where he's like, "I know what I'm gonna do. I'll see you guys next week in Philly." And he walked off, and Ava would have been like, "Wait, what's he gonna do? What's he doing?" He just walked away. Rob. It was the weirdest finish I've ever seen because they accomplished nothing and just told you he'll be there. It's like, but what are you doing?
Sandman as the special guest referee for the British rounds match between Charlie Dempsey and do Lexus King. Do a rematch. Who cares?
Sure.
Just Sandman as a special guest referee.
Oh yeah, let me tell you about my experience in British rounds matches. Yeah. And he brings out like a 6-pack of British beer. He just crushes 6 British beers.
What's a popular British beer?
Water. I don't know.
Bud Light.
Bud Light. Bruv Light.
Bruv Light.
You think Sandman's going to be at the show? I know a lot of people are speculating that he.
I mean, maybe he's got a podcast.
Doesn't everybody?
Yeah.
I really it would just be funny. He's like, if Rob hadn't said I'll see you in Philly, it would have been much funnier if he's like, oh yeah, I know what I'm gonna do. All right, see you then. And he just walks away, and then he shows up on AEW Dynamite the next week. I'm gonna have a real match. It's me and Shelton Benjamin from ECW 2006. Tony should have just dropped the bag on Rob and been like, let's go, let's do it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we should just be bruv light.
I wouldn't rule that out, by the way. I wouldn't rule out that Tony Khan makes a call and is like, hey, what are you doing on Wednesday? And Rob's just like, I don't know. Why? What's up? You want to come to wherever the hell we are, New Hampshire next week? Here's how much I'll pay you. Okay, cool. We can do that.
Yeah, I'll be there. Can I bring the wife? Yeah, sure. Do whatever you want.
Eddie Forbes is in like, aren't we appearing at NXT? Rob's like, well, they're offering me this much. They're offering me this much. I'm going to pick a hand. I'm going to go with the one that has more money in it.
Rob gets so hype. Oh, man, I spaced on the dates of the show.
He's at MLW.
And JBL told me to show up, so I'm here. Where's JBL? He only comes to like the super fights. He only comes to like the pay-per-view cards. Oh man, spaced again. Yeah, they're in Philly for Collision this week.
There you go.
For AEW. So it'd be funny if he does do the Philly Collision on the 2nd and then does the 7th for or whatever the next one, the 2300 edition. Yeah, Rob Van Rude. Rude Van Dam. Oh god, I love that he just showed up and was like, yeah, I know what I'm gonna do, and he just walked out of scene.
I mean, that makes sense, honestly.
Peak Rob Van Dam. They should get Kelly out there. I see Henry saying ECW legend Kelly. They had the Boogeyman.
Can we get Marcus Corvon?
Oh, buddy, if I could,
that's
I would.
What we need.
ECW legend Chris Jericho should make an appearance. They should have Rey Mysterio show up.
Paul White.
Yeah.
Show up. Yeah.
Kurt Angle. ECW legend Kurt Angle.
Possible. He was the first draft pick in ECW history.
He was. Yeah. The zombie, unfortunately, is dead, so we can't really use that.
Well, I mean,
the zombie was already dead, but now he's actually dead. They chopped his head off. It was over. I'm sorry. It's done.
What?
Well, that's how you kill a zombie officially. You chop their head off. Oh, you do a double tap. That's true. I did see Zombieland. That was a good movie. Anyway, Big Zeke. Actually, he's getting into shape. I talked about this with you. We get Big Zeke out there. Sabu's an interesting one. We talked about it. I did Beyond the Bell with Zarian yesterday on the main channel. Sabu was brought up, and I said Sabu was just in Toronto this past weekend working Greektown Wrestling. He was the special guest enforcer. Do you know what the match was? You don't, but do you want to hear what the match was?
Go for it.
Channing Decker versus Effie for the Greektown title. Hell, with Sabu as the enforcer. It's on Triller Plus if you got it.
There you go.
Great Khali should come out. I agree with that one.
Oh, hell yeah. 100%. 100% has to show up.
Don't think Paulie's going to show up. I don't expect Paul Heyman. He's got bigger stories to tell.
Maybe like narrating.
That's what I said.
Some type of video package. Yeah, I don't think he shows up unless he gets brought back this weekend, which I wouldn't fully rule out. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility. But I think Heyman is smart enough, despite the fact that it is an ECW nostalgia show. I think Heyman is smart enough to realize, yeah, just coming back for this one-off appearance doesn't serve the purpose of the Bloodline story, which is a bigger factor at play than this.
Tommy Dreamer being tossed out in the chat. Initially, I said Tommy Dreamer would only come out if he had to like talk to the heart and soul of NXT, and like you can argue that Trick is that, and you've already got him working with Bully or Bubba Ray in a main event match for whatever reason. And then you can make the argument Tommy could talk to. I thought Tony D'Angelo and Tommy Dreamer would be hilarious, where Tommy gets invited to join the family for a week and he's Tommy D'Angelo. But instead, they're not doing that. I don't think Tommy's going to be there. Tommy's been mostly staying off of TV when it comes to wrestling stuff, because he's not showing up on Impact the way he used to. He did do the induction for Rhino for Bound for Glory, but other than that, he's largely off TV these days. Tommy Dreamer and Lexus King is a hilarious Hey, look at my crazy hair. Hey, look at my crazy beard. We should be best friends. Back when Tommy would do the double knot.
And Bully Ray being part of a major angle in 2024.
Did you know that Busted Open is a show that Bubba Ray Dudley is a part of? Did you know this? Because if you didn't, you must have had your ears closed, because he said it like 28 times last night.
Why isn't AEW combating that with having us two dorks on their show? Why aren't we feuding with, I don't want to feud with Jon Moxley, but it's
give us Serpentico?
Why can't we be on ROH at the very least? You know, put me in the learning tree. I would be great. And Jericho steals all his ideas from me anyway, so this would be fantastic.
We should be with the Costco guys at Full Gear.
People are mad about the Costco guys.
I have no idea why anyone would be mad about this shit.
They bring the boom.
I don't even. Here's the thing.
The boom. The boom.
Yeah,
that's all I know.
You know, it's all about the boom. And here's the thing. You remember, you and I spent weeks on end talking about how AEW's marketing for events and for shows have been, and that they could do better. With what they're doing with the Costco guys, it's exclusively online. Nothing has been brought to TV. QT Marshall's not on TV. He's not talking about this match. Like, they don't have any. They've dedicated 0 TV minutes, because that's not who this is for. And it's going on 0 Hour. And Jeremy, where does 0 Hour exclusively air?
On the boom.
But the point I'm making is that they've used extreme restraint. They've put it in the right places. They had the guys on Fallon. Like, it's completely innocuous. It's just a silly, stupid match. It's just like when they did was it, oh my god, the Golden Boy match, right? At C2E2. It's the same shit. Who could possibly care? It has 0 effect on anything that's going on in the world of wrestling. It's just silly and stupid. And like, if this had gotten television time on Dynamite, or on even maybe less on Rampage, but if it got any TV time, I think I'd be sitting here being a little more critical of it. But because it's been exclusively online, that's the build. They're trying to expand into a different audience base. I see no problem with it. It's completely harmless.
Here's my thoughts on it. That's what we do on the show, right? We give thoughts
Bury
every
it.
now and again. Yeah.
You're gonna bury it.
I'm not gonna bury it, because like, I truthfully, you know what I'm gonna bury? I didn't know who the hell these Costco guys were like 2 months ago.
Oh, I
Here's
still barely do. I just don't care.
literally 2 months ago. I'll actually give you the exact date of when this thing was. So Sean Ross Sapp puts in our staff chat this interview that it was August 20th. So almost exactly 2 months ago, just over 2 months ago. August 20th. Sean puts on our staff chat a Barstool Sports interview, and it's like, hey, at around 14 minutes, there's something interesting. I'm like, all right, sure, I'll check it out. I see this dude, and he just says, oh, yeah, we're working out something with a major wrestling organization. I don't know who this person is. He was clearly like a Barstool regular, so they didn't even like set him up of like who this person was, of like, hey, joining us now is so and so. Like, he just made a random appearance on the Barstool show and is like, yeah, we're working out something with a major wrestler. I had to like research. I don't like doing that. That sucks. But like, I didn't know who this person was. And then I researched a little bit. I was like, oh, okay, Costco guy AJ. Sure. And I did the article and I thought nothing of it. And since then, I have done 1, 2, 3, 4. Fuck, that's already too many. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 articles on the Costco guys. 16 articles. I didn't know who they were 2 months ago. And now I'm covering them every single week. Twice a week, basically, is what this averages out to. Because you think it's been about 8 weeks, 16 articles. What? What?
And you've got 2 weeks until Full Gear, so you'll be probably upping that number very soon.
I had no idea who they were. I'm still not completely familiar with like what they do, why they're popular, but I could say that for a lot of things. I know they're popular though. We went to a pumpkin farm this weekend, right? And we were out picking pumpkins and everything. And there's this group of probably teenagers, probably high school kids, I would say. They looked like they were in high school, probably like juniors and seniors. And you know what the fuck they're doing, Joel? The two of the kids are like, we bring the boom, da 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 da. Bring the. I was like, what the fuck is happening here? They're popular. They're popular. I'll give them that. I don't get it, but they are popular. My thoughts on them in wrestling and AEW Full Gear is I'm kind of in the same boat as you. It's on the pre-show. It's for YouTube. It doesn't really harm anything. It's not taking up TV time. I actually think they should put this, like some of this stuff on like a Collision, because they're not doing anything else on Collision. They should put something on Collision to build it a little bit. Look, the pre-show matches are usually just thrown together matches on the day announced on Rampage before, and it's like, how do we get 14 more people on the show? Here's a 7-man all-star tag team match added to the pre-show. I do think like you should put something on this on like a Rampage or a Collision, just a video package to give it some hype, because you probably get some buzz on it. They're on the Tonight Show. Like, they're getting buzz off of this. Here's why I think people have a problem with it though, specifically in AEW. Even though it's on like the pre-show, it's not taking up TV time or anything like that. It feels very WWE. It's a WWE thing to, hey, let's take these guys from TikTok and let's put them on our wrestling show. It feels very WWE. And I think that's why a lot of AEW fans are like, yeah, this sucks. This is not for me. If I want to see TikTok stars wrestling, I'll watch WWE. I want where the best wrestle. I don't want this.
I guess, and I get it. And again, that's why I brought up the match at C2E2 where like they did a plunder match. They did a silly wrestling match with I keep wanting to say it's Golden Boy, but was it Golden Boy? Do you remember what the match was?
No.
I gotta look this up. Sorry, it's gonna bug me, and I'm sure someone in the chat's gonna remember what it does.
I don't think it was Golden Boy, was it? I thought he was the announcer.
Maybe he was the announcer, but it was with someone who was part of it. Was Jabali. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. It was Jabali. But like the point was it was silly. It was stupid, and like it was the same thing. Yeah, Yeah, it was Alex Jabali. Thank you. He's not a wrestler. Like, he wasn't a wrestler. And it was the match good? Not really, but like, it happened because Jabali was big on C2E2 and like got them the booking and so on and so forth. I don't think that the Costco guys got them the full gear booking, but my point is that this is it's happened before and it'll happen again. And this is just a way for AEW to kind of open their doors, because, you know, you can't sit and complain that you're not giving me where the best wrestle when you're not willing to at least try to expand your audience to other people, because someone like the Costco guys are going to bring in other people to watch your show. And if they like the wrestling, then they'll stick around. If they don't, then they'll be like, all right, I saw the Costco guys wrestle and I can go now. Like, they're taking a calculated risk, and the risk is very low, given that the reward is relatively higher. They don't have to put much investment into it other than what they've been doing. They're not investing television time. I agree with you. You can put a video package together and maybe do like a little something on Rampage. And again, it's completely harmless. So while I understand that some people are, you know, a little annoyed that this is a little WWE like, sometimes you got to insert at least a little entertainment into your show so that you can expand and broaden your audience.
They got Chris Jericho for that.
Well, that's true. It's not lately. He's got to go to Ring of Honor now. He's got to go be the champion over in Ring of Honor for the next little while. So that's kind of my take on it, is that like, it's not going to hurt anyone. If it was, believe me, you'd know. But in this case, it's just some wrestling online TikTok bullshit.
And AJ has wrestling experience. Like, it's not like he's completely inept at this. So yeah, he's done wrestling in the past. Again, I'd put something on Rampage just because it is getting you attention. Your hardcore fans don't like it. And again, I think that's the issue, is your hardcore fans don't like it. And is it going to draw enough casual viewers to make it worth hurting your hardcore audience? You know?
Well, here's the secret. Your hardcore audience will still watch the show. This one match, this one thing is not going to turn them off. They might complain, sure, whatever. WWE audiences complain all the time about, like, hardcores complain about shit on WWE all the time. But like, they still watch because they're still hardcore. They're still not stopping. They're just being critical. It's the same shit here. This whole thing is, we don't like what this is, so we're going to complain about it. But guess what? I'm still going to enjoy Hangman versus Jay White, and I'm still going to enjoy everything else. This one, just of all the grand scheme, I don't think this is going to turn people off. Yeah, like Henry's saying, people complain no matter what. And like, this is one of those times where we're going to talk about the WWE ID program. And this is another thing where like, people have their preconceived notions and their ideas of what this is. And then there are other people who feel a completely different way. And it's not going to deter WWE from doing this, much like this match isn't going to deter AEW from trying to seek out new, not only revenue streams, but also engagement streams. And that's what this is. It's an engagement stream. Tony Khan was on TikTok to announce a new match because Britt Baker was sick. Like, they have to do some stuff to get out there. If they're going to be incredibly online, which AEW is, then you may as well continue to like branch out and open up the proverbial tent. And it's not going to hurt anyone. That's where I'm at with it.
It might hurt people, Joel.
Let it hurt people. As long as it turns out that like the Costco guys aren't like secret racists or some shit, like that would hurt. If it turns out that they're like the worst human beings ever, that would hurt them. But right now, no skeletons in the closet, so we're fine. It'll hurt QT Marshall. He'll be fine. He's got enough going on in his world. He'll be fine. Till he loses the match.
The people are missing just the biggest disconnect here is the show's called Dynamite and Collision. They bring the boom. Like,
well, they already have a guy who brings the boom because it's all about the boom. Adam Cole payday.
How have they not done that so yet?
Because I just don't think they want to bring it onto TV, which is, again, rightfully so. They should do something at the event, at Full Gear, maybe backstage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do
it after.
Yeah, do a TikTok together.
Yeah. That's fine. That'd be fun. Yeah. But it is what it is.
Anyway, do a TikTok. Adam Cole should be like, yeah, I'll fight this AJ guy. I got to win 3 matches. Buddy Matthews, no, I don't want to face him. Let me fight AJ let me fight Big Justice. Get Rizzler out here. I'll punt that little dude. That's what Adam Cole should be saying.
Let me beat some children up in the. Anyway, did you bring your WWE ID card? Did you bring your WWE ID?
Nah, I don't have ID.
No, I got mine. I've got mine.
Good for you.
That's right. Toronto. Shout out to the Toronto Public Library.
Oh, I have your Toronto bus
We have the
pass.
Presto pass. Presto
Yeah.
is a multi-area. Presto's everywhere. Part of a larger conglomerate, not conglomeration, a conglomerate. But anyway, we should talk about WWE ID, and then we can preview Dynamite for realsies. So the WWE ID program was announced, and the last time that this was brought up as a potential idea, I think I was on Beyond the Bell with Zarian, and someone was asking about it, and I said flat out, this is just like their NIL program, but instead of identifying athletes, they're identifying independent wrestlers, and they're going to give those independent wrestlers a leg up to get to WWE if they so choose. Well, they announced yesterday that they're going to do something similar to that. They've partnered with 6 schools. Was it 6? 6 schools, right? 6 or 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway, so they partnered with these schools, and they are schools that are known, and they are going to identify wrestlers who are on the ascent and give them potential opportunities to learn and grow within the WWE system. They are investing in this talent. This is completely harmless to me. We've seen a lot of different feelings towards this. I think it's pretty good, to be quite frank. I think it has the potential to be good. Obviously, it comes down to how this all operates and what kind of what the expectations are of both WWE and the wrestlers that they are targeting or giving opportunities to. It is what it is. What was most interesting to me when we get into this is that the schools, they're all connected to WWE already in some way, shape, or form. I don't know what you're smiling about.
Oh, I'm having a conversation with...
Oh, no. Oh, no.
No, it's nothing.
With Rizzler?
It's nothing. I don't know. It's absolutely nothing. I can't even tell you off air. It's a very dumb conversation I'm having with Sean. It's very stupid.
All right, fine. Anyway, let him come on and expose your conversations later. The schools are all tied to WWE. You've got Cody Rhodes in the Nightmare Factory. There are people asking, what does that mean for AEW in the Nightmare Factory? I know Sean's looking into that. There will be an update when there is. You've got Booker T's Reality of Wrestling School, which is interesting for several reasons we'll get into. You've got Black and Brave, which is owned by Seth Rollins in Davenport. And then you've got, there were 2 schools. So one is Knox in LA. That's actually Rikishi's school, along with another member of the Anoa'i family. So it makes sense that they're connecting to them. And then the other one was the Elite Pro, and Elite Pro is a school that's in New Hampshire. I don't think people really put 2 and 2 together, but their head coach there, is a Killer Kowalski trainee, broke into the business in 1992, same year as Paul Levesque. And hey, Jeremy Lambert, who trained Paul Levesque?
Shawn Michaels.
Killer Kowalski trained Paul Levesque, much like he did. So Mike Hollow is the name of the guy who's in Elite Pro. So basically, Triple H already had a connection to the guys over in New Hampshire, so it made sense that they got them. I know Kofi Kingston came out of that school. Other wrestlers as well who have gone on to WWE and AEW and TNA, they've come out of that school. So every school has a connection to WWE in some way, shape, or form. The only one, like I said, that's most interesting to me is Booker T, because he runs a show that airs on television weekly. The rest of these shows, the rest of these schools do maybe a quarterly event, or a spot show, but they do not do like a televised show like Reality of Wrestling does. So that was the most interesting to me. And also NXT talent have gone down to work Reality of Wrestling, so there's a direct connection there. Here we go. Let's have our thoughts about this whole thing. You're up first.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've teed it up. I've given my initial thoughts. So
I'm getting a bunch of messages. I apologize.
Tell them to stop. Tell them you're busy. Tell them it's 11:30 on a Wednesday.
None of the, I mean, they actually are kind of poor. As you know, Joel, got 1,800 kids, and there may be 1 or 2 homesick today. So I'm getting updates is all. And then, I was having a very dumb conversation with Sean, and then other people want me to do some work that I don't feel like doing. So, what can you do out here? All right. WWE ID. I think there's positives and I think there's negatives. I think the concerns that people have are probably rightful concerns of the way they've done to the UK and just kind of the global localization that they talk about, and they've kind of cut the UK independent scene to where there aren't too many great UK promotions coming out, like Progress and Rev Pro, about the two that are kind of you hear about right now. But if you talk to people in the UK, you talk about that scene, it doesn't have a whole lot of traction over there. Now, there could be other reasons for that. Let's be
There are
honest.
absolutely
Yeah.
other reasons for that, and I wish more people would talk about those reasons, but we can get there in a minute.
Like the UK scene hurt itself during COVID for one reason or another. So yeah, there are definitely other reasons.
Sorry, I'm just because I don't want to sit behind here and be like, be coy. Speaking Out did a huge number, rightfully so, to the UK indies. There were a lot of people who were in positions of power who did not deserve to be in those positions of power and were rightfully removed. Some of whom have already moved over to WWE as well. Some were working for the UK WWE offices and they got rid of those people, rightfully so, again. So yeah, that's something that needs to be brought up. And you mentioned the pandemic, it closed down a lot of places as well. And the other thing I'll just point out, because now we're on it, is World of Sport. A lot of people thought that the World of Sport revival was going to be this huge thing and there was going to be investment made from other companies, and then it turned out to be shite. And nobody wanted to, like, it didn't matter. They got a prime spot on ITW. That's weird to say because that's us. They got a prime spot on UK TV, and they fizzled out. The show wasn't good. So like the UK, the argument that WWE killed the UK indies is not entirely true. Did it hurt them to take a bunch of talent and make them exclusive? ITV, thank you. World Sport is why NXT UK happened, and that's true. But then World Sport just wasn't good. So WWE grabbed a bunch of talent. Yes, they made them exclusive, but also they gave them money. They paid them. Did they pay them extremely well? Well, that's up to them to figure out. But the point is, the UK indies were not entirely cannibalized by WWE. So the ID program, I understand why some people are apprehensive. I'll let you continue from there.
So there's tangible evidence of the UK scene, of what's happening or what has happened to the scene that WWE played some part in. Like we just said, it ain't everything. WWE didn't fully destroy the scene, but there was the way they set it up at that time. It had a hand in some aspects of it. So people are worried about that when it comes to WWE ID. I think there's some concern over, okay, how are they going to be paid? Are they going to be exclusive to like the shows that these promotions run? Is, for argument's sake, someone at Nightmare Factory, is he going to be able to work a GCW show? And if so, what does that look like? Look, GCW's already got kind of issues with, they're bringing all in ex-WWE guys. They got a sort of a relationship with WWE now. People are, at least Josh Barnett's Bloodsport is able to use WWE talent. JBL's showing up there. A lot of Matt Cardona has been very open of, I've kind of done everything I can in GCW. I'd like to go back to WWE. So are those people going to be allowed to work other independent shows? And what does that conversation look like? And what does the payment look like? Like if wrestler A, who's at Nightmare Factory, is there, does he get paid on top of whatever he may or may not be making from WWE from like Beyond Wrestling or whatever? Like, those are questions that got to be asked to the right people. I don't have any insight on what that looks like. I just have no idea. I'm not an independent wrestler. We put a call out if any independent wrestler wanted to come on and talk about this. And look, it's very new. The announcement was made yesterday. We don't know how this is going to fully play out big picture just yet. I'm not even sure if they know how this is going to play out big picture just yet. So there's some definitely concerns when it comes to, this might hurt the US independent scene. I also think a lot of it is overblown. Because the way I looked at it is, all right, WWE is going to basically be working with schools they were already working with. If you want to go to these schools, if you're independent wrestler A and you want to go to this school, You're probably picking this school because they already kind of have ties to WWE, whether it's Cody, whether it's Seth, whether it's Booker T. Like they already got WWE ties. So you're probably going to this school thinking, hey, this is a good way to get to WWE. I'm going to learn from people who one is a commentator in NXT, one's the world champion, one is a featured person and has been part of the system for a decade, over a decade now. Like, I'm working with guys who have been there who can give me insight into what WWE wants, because that's where I want to eventually end up. Now it's just, hey, we are branded and co-opted. There's no secret that we are part of this WWE program. If an independent wrestler wants to do that, this is their way to go and do that. And now it is a very clear cut. It says it on the marquee, WWE ID. We are a WWE ID school. Now you can go there with that expectation. And if you're an independent wrestler and you don't want to do that, and if you do want to travel to Mexico, you do want to travel to Japan, you do want to travel all across the country, you can still go that route as well. And then maybe after you gain some experience, maybe you do go to one of these schools. It's like, all right, I got my experience elsewhere. Now let me go to one of these schools and let me, try to maybe make it into the WWE. Like, if you're an independent wrestler, it does feel if you don't go to one of these schools, you might be starting behind. And because they're going to look at these schools first, right? They're just going to look at, okay, we're going to take guys who are at these schools. We're going to take guys and girls at these schools before we take somebody who has just been traveling around the world. At the same time, I don't think there is a cut and dry, this is who we're going after with WWE. Because if you look at their process, they take people from the NIL. They take a Julia or a Stephanie Vaquer who have traveled and gotten experience elsewhere. They take someone like Javon Evans, who was a young independent wrestler who was just kind of working the independent scene and just starting out, and they got him. Like, I think if you're good enough and you fit what they are looking for at the time, they're gonna find you on this stuff. I think this makes the process easier for them to help find you. And I think it makes the process easier for an independent wrestler to help get noticed, because you're going to look at it and you're going to say, well, if they're looking anywhere, they're probably going to look at the schools that they're affiliated with.
So we've got a few people in the chat asking various questions. One is, will those WWE ID branded schools raise tuition costs? Again, they've already identified schools that are directly related to WWE superstars who are on or involved directly with WWE. I don't see a reason for the first 5 to do anything. I don't think that they really will, because the ID branded schools, the idea is that these are schools where you could go, but you're not going to get noticed by WWE. WWE is noticing you. They're not just like making you go and sign a contract that you go to Black and Brave. And I use Sean Logan because he was recently on our show and he trains at Black and Brave. They're not going to Sean Logan and being like, you're signing with us because you train at Seth's school. No, the idea is we have targeted you and we would like to invite you to be part of our program where we work with you to give you opportunities to learn and grow within what WWE system has done, with the hope that they go the further to places like the Performance Center. Another question was, will they close the Performance Center? And I guess Senior Nerd saying, Kate said last night that this is WWE admitting the Performance Center is a bust. Whether or not Kate said it, I would disagree with the idea that the Performance Center is a bust. I think that they could do better with getting certain talent ready for this show, but I think the Performance Center as it exists isn't really a bust, because they've been able to take a big venue and turn it into a production house, a creative studio, a wrestling studio. You've got the rings, you've got the resources, you've got the workout equipment, you've got an office, you've got places where people can go to work and hone their craft. The idea is that you start on the indies with the ID program and you build from there. They're not picking the guy who's been on the indies toiling for 20 years. They're not picking them from obscurity and saying, now you're with us. No, they're taking new people who walk through the door who have been at it for a short amount of time, and they see something in them and they want to hopefully point them in a way that is more towards WWE's satisfactory way to move them to the performance center. It's not, we're going to take you and we're going to own you. It was the idea that we're going to grab wrestlers and we're going to give them opportunities should they want it. Someone else had mentioned, are they going to allow wrestlers who are on cards with AEW or New Japan wrestlers? Well, yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't have that be okay. Would they allow them to necessarily wrestle against wrestlers from AEW or New Japan? That's a totally separate question. But like, if Konosuke Takeshita happens to be on the card that you're wrestling against someone completely different, I don't think they give a shit. And it is what it is. Yes, I think that's absolutely because Sean came back to wrestling that they have implemented this program.
I don't think it's admitting the performance center is a bust. That seems egregious to me, because like, look at the people they have created out of the performance center. The people who came from the collegiate backgrounds and didn't have the independent wrestling. The friggin' NXT world champion came out of the performance center, and like one of the most over guys in NXT, and who got pretty big reactions when he did the few main roster appearances. Like, there's high hopes for Trick Williams. Braun Breaker came from that as well. He's the Intercontinental Champion. Saying the performance center is a bust is
Bianca Belair, Baron Corbin, Alexa Bliss. Like, there are many people who came out of that program. Oba Femi's another one. Like, they're all NIL, but the point is they all came to the PC and have been getting the reps there.
It's not even necessarily like NIL program. It's just like they didn't do a whole lot of independent stuff. It was straight from whatever college and then right into the performance center. The way I look at it is it's, I don't want to say it's a pyramid scheme, but it is a pyramid at the end of the day. It's on a pyramid scheme, but like, it's like any other sport almost. That now you have a extra layer at the bottom. Now it's like, okay, if you want to start in the, we'll call it minor leagues, but if you're starting in the AAA, is it AAA, AA, MLB? I'm pretty sure that's how.
Yeah, we're not talking about AAA. We're not talking about the Mexican wrestling company.
Like, this ID system is now, hey, you're at AAA. That's where you're at. You're starting, hone your craft, work on stuff that you think will be good, that WWE is looking for. And then you move up to the next level after that. The next level would be the Performance Center and NXT. And then the next level after that is WWE main roster. Like, that's how I see it. Like, the Performance Center is still valuable in that. And now it could be of when it comes to these NIL deals, is like, hey, okay, you're on an NIL deal. Instead of coming to the Performance Center, it's, hey, why don't you go to Black and Brave? Why don't you go to the Nightmare Factory and work there and be part of our program there? And then you come up to the Performance Center, and then you come up to WWE. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it as basically a continuation.
It's a ladder.
Minor league system. Yeah.
It's a ladder. Yeah. No, I fully agree with you. Sorry, I cut you off because it's not a pyramid. It's a ladder.
Yeah, a ladder is much better than pyramid.
Especially in
a kind of a pyramid.
Yeah, that's true. It is. It's a 3-point that goes to the top. Yeah, that's kind of, and it's funny watching the reactions specifically from wrestlers, because there are very different reactions from very different wrestlers from very different points in their careers. Some are extremely excited for the potential to be brought into a program like this. Others, they're not. Others want to keep doing wrestling the way they see wrestling, and they don't want to be part of a WWE system. That's okay too, by the way. There's more than one way to do this. How you make your money in wrestling is entirely up to you. It's contingent on your plan. Can somebody encourage you to go one way versus the other based on your look, your style, your in whatever you're doing? Sure, but no one's going to tell you what to do. Just because you've been identified by WWE as someone that they want to be part of this program doesn't mean you're signing. You will be heavily, influenced, or not even influenced. You'll be heavily pushed to do it, but ultimately it's your decision. And that's what it comes down to. And if you're a vet who's been around for 20 years and you've been doing the independents, it's probably not a program for you unless you're part of a school that trains for the ID program, at which point there's no guarantee that you're even training those people. because that's a whole other can of worms. Is who is an ID branded coach? Who is an ID? Like, a school is one thing, a coach is another. Every coach has a different little something that they bring to their wrestling acumen and to their wrestling world. I don't know what that will look like either. It's brand new. It's a brand new program. We don't know what that's going to look like. I'm sure whoever they sign first, quote unquote, as their WWE ID athletes, I'm sure they're going to double down and make that a big deal. And I assume that they're going to target someone who's already been part of WWE's kind of plan, or at least part of their scouting for the last little while. It would make perfect sense to me to find someone like that and work with them there and make that a big deal. And then it's up to them to make that a big deal. Make that
they're gonna take everybody who gets squashed on Rampage and Collision, and they're gonna all be signed to the WWE ID until Tony Khan is forced to book matches between people who cannot lose.
So
that's the real system at play here.
This is the Nathan Frazier argument, is it? I see what you're doing. We got a super chat from Will Chisholm saying, I do laugh how Jordan Grace shows up in NXT like it's my second home now, LOL. Jordan Grace came back on NXT last night. A bit of a surprise, but also not. She did drop the Knockouts World Championship to Masha Slamovich. Don't remember if she's actually she's not part of the TV tapings for TNA, as far as she didn't have a match. So here we go. Jordan is starting maybe her transition over to NXT. It would make sense. But like I said, I think that they'll do the Trinity approach when it comes to Jordan Grace's departure from TNA, where she'll do a rematch for the Knockouts Championship against Masha. They'll do a tag match where Masha and Jordan team up, and then they'll do the big goodbye show. That'll be just before Genesis, the final resolution in Atlanta, which would be fun. So, although because Jordan's from Dallas, maybe they'll have her at Genesis. That'll be her big goodbye because it's hometown for Jordan. So we'll see. But she appeared on NXT. She's going to be part of that big 10-woman tag. Good for her, man. She should be out here making all the money and doing all the things. Good for her.
With Lita as the special guest referee for the 10-woman tag.
That's right. No one else could possibly be the referee. Maybe it's Rob Van Dam. Maybe
Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace might be an accomplice to the attack on Rhea Ripley. She posted that photo with Rhea and Zarya and said, bookmark this. And then the next thing we know, Rhea is laid out in the parking lot. Very curious there, Jordan. Very curious.
I like the idea of Jordan Grace being the heater for someone. Well, you got big tall Raquel, who's the heater for Liv, and then there's a size discrepancy there. I'd like to see that. This is my little big girl and my big mommy girl. Oh my goodness. Anyway, is there anything else you want to add about this whole WWE NIL thing? Not NIL, sorry, the ID program.
I hope Thea Hale and Chase U go to all of these schools and get them to enroll.
I hope Chase U is a WWE ID branded school.
That would be great, actually.
You know what? Forget it. I'm tweeting this out right now.
That would rule. Just, Andre Chase is in an ambulance right now, so I don't know if he can do anything.
No, they took him out. They got him out of it. It was a digital exclusive.
Okay, all right. Yeah, Thea Hale is the one of like, why aren't we a WWE ID school? We need to start bringing in some new recruits around here. It'd be fantastic.
Tell your friends, JC, you should be a WWE ID branded school. Oh man.
I can't retweet you because you're a coward and you've locked your account. So
that's true, and I'm not going to be unlocking it anytime soon. I can tell you that much.
I'm just gonna steal it.
Just take a screen cap and then tweet it out with your tweets.
I don't feel like doing that.
Photos get engagement, Jeremy Lambert.
Yeah, that's true, actually. That is true. They do.
I'm allowing people to screen cap this particular tweet to share with your friends.
We could theoretically screen cap any tweets. Oh my God, there is a 2.5, nearly 3 hour Cody Rhodes interview. This sounds terrible.
With whom?
Flagrant. Oh. Well, that's my afternoon.
Seriously. You think he's going to say anything fun?
It's 3 hours. He better say something.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. You got to expect something. How's your dog doing? Okay, here we go. Yeah, well, that'll be interesting for you. Well, anyway, that means we can go on and do our AEW Dynamite Fright Night preview, shouldn't we?
It's at least kind of time stamped, so I can
Okay,
sort
good.
of go through a little bit and pick and choose what I want. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot.
Oh, this 1.5 speed. Will what? No, we are
Oh
we are
no, I'm way over
yeah,
1.5 speed.
we are a 2.25 family in this house
Yeah.
with smart skip on. You got to turn on that smart skip. Get rid of all that dead air. That's what I'm all about. All right, let's see if I can pull up this AEW Dynamite card for tonight. Fright Night in Cleveland, Ohio. The spooky beaches of Cleveland play host to AEW Dynamite tonight. Are you looking forward to this, Jeremy? Will it be a fun show for all, or will it be different?
I'm not watching this, Joel. I'm watching the Love Is Blind reunion.
You got to watch the show. You got to be.
Why?
You can't be a fake fan.
There's Love Is Blind reunion. The Oklahoma City Thunder play basketball. The corpse of the. If I want to see something scary, I'll watch the Ford group for the Colorado Avalanche. We could be on the team right now with all these injuries. They're playing, Joel. They are playing their 8th defenseman as their 12th forward. That's how terrible of injury shape this team is in. The 8th defenseman is the 12th forward on this team. So yeah, if I want to watch some spooky stuff, I'll watch the Avs Ford group play. I don't have to watch AEW Dynamite.
Shout out to my Ottawa Senators who beat the St. Louis Blues 8-1 yesterday.
The Sens playing like fun games. It's something. Good on them.
Yeah, very excited for the Sens to make me upset later on in the season. All right, we don't have an article up on the website.
What do you mean? Yeah, we do.
Do we? I didn't see it. I was on the front page, second page, third page.
I promise you it's there.
Oh, I believe you that it's there. I just don't know.
I got it. It's AEW Fright Night Dynamite preview, Joel.
And where is it? Is it on the first page?
It's on the second page.
There it is.
I did it, so like I know it's there.
It's just early. It's
8:30. It's always 8:30.
I thought it was noon when you do it.
No.
Whatever.
Oh my gosh.
I don't post things on this site other than what I'm doing. That's why sometimes you get an article that says, 4:30, Joel Pearl, lunch. And it just says lunch and it's a picture of my lunch. People need to know what I'm eating. Today it'll be pasta with a ground chicken and a rosé sauce, or roasted red pepper rosé sauce. You're welcome. AEW Dynamite tonight. You want to do it or shall I?
What are we doing?
Well, we usually run down the card because that's something that we do.
Oh, okay.
Hangman Page is going to speak. What will he say?
He's going to say, "Hey guys, I'm Hangman Page, and you're watching AEW Fright Night Dynamite."
Now, this is my friend, the Rizzler.
What if Hangman Page did the Riz face? He's all mad. He's like,
that's basically what happens when he comes out. With his music in the background. He's just going down. Super serious Hangman Page. Hey, Orange Cassidy is also going to speak because he's very serious.
He's going to say, "Hey guys, I'm Orange Cassidy, and you're watching AEW Fright Night Dynamite."
And John Moxley, if you're watching, I'm going to beat your ass. That's the show. That's going to be it. Adam Cole versus Buddy Matthews. Adam Cole is going to go on his way for his 3-match win streak.
Adam Cole's going to come out and he's going to be like, "Hey guys, I'm Adam Cole, and you're watching AEW Fright Night Dynamite, and we bring the boom, baby."
And then out comes the Rizzler once again. This is going to be a Rizzler happy episode. This is such a stupid gimmick. Shelton Benjamin takes on Swerve Strickland on AEW Friday Night Dynamite. And then out comes Bobby Lashley, and he says, "Hey guys."
Bobby Lashley comes out, like, "Hey guys, and you people are watching AEW Fright Night Dynamite."
Swerve says, "What do you mean, you people?"
wrestling fans, Swerve. What else can I be talking about?
I'm sure nothing bad can come of that idea. Chris Statlander and Camille. And Mercedes Moné comes out and says,
"Hey guys, you're watching AEW Fright Night Dynamite."
Well, it's just Cleveland. You're watching AEW Friday Night Dynamite.
Are they taping the Abaddon and Athena match tonight? I assume they're taping.
I assume they're doing it, yeah, because it's airing tomorrow.
Yeah,
because tomorrow's Halloween. If you didn't know this already,
yeah.
Skibidi Toilet live from Hawaii. Oh my gosh, what else? And then of course the tag team titles are on the line. Private Party versus the Young Bucks. If Private Party lose, they disband, and then each of them take a microphone and they say, "Hi, I'm Mark Glenn. Hi, I'm Zay Cassidy, and you're watching AEW Dynamite Fright Night Dynamite live from
Get it right, Joel.
You're right. You want to do it for me instead? We should do it together. 1,
Okay.
3.
All right.
Hi.
Hey guys, we're the Young Bucks, and you're watching AEW Fright Night Dynamite. And then they wink, and they wink and they nod, and they're like, "We're in charge of this show. We do all the booking decisions. Fright Night Dynamite."
This Dynamite is either going to be the highest rated or lowest rated of all time at this point.
Oh man, I can't believe that Chris Legento rigged Game 4 of the World Series so that they could play a Game 5 tonight against AEW. Just cannot believe that.
Damn, the gentle activity over here.
Oh, they told the Dodgers, they were like, "Dodgers, just use your bullpen. Let's stretch the bullpen thin for Game 4, so you can get your starter for Game 5, and then Game 5 you can win the World Series. But we got to have a game on Wednesday to go up against AEW Fright Night Dynamite, okay?" And the Dodgers like, "All right, we can do that." And then, but the Dodgers are like, "But I don't know if Aaron Judge is actually going to hit better." And they're like, "Well, we'll worry about Aaron Judge. All right, don't worry. We'll worry about Aaron Judge. We got Verdugo and Wells and all these other guys. I can't name all the Giancarlo Stanton, Juan Soto. They'll be okay. We'll take care of Aaron Judge." Can't believe that Chris Legento would do that.
Just awful activity. That guy. Can't believe it. Just the worst. Anyway, that's AEW Dynamite tonight. I assume the tag titles are going to be the main event because then Moxley's going to come out and beat up everybody.
Who do you think wins that match? Do you think they split Private Party?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I don't know why. I don't know. Who else you got in this tag division to go after the Bucks right now? Like it feels like
House of Black.
I guess, but you can't spend. I mean, you can do this whole 5 years and you've been, you're still in the same place you are. It does make sense to split them from we're going to split you because now one of you is going to actually go further than you were, and we're going to prove that we were right. I'm talking from the Jon Moxley perspective. Yeah, don't give me FTR because
Outrunners, baby.
Yeah, there's nothing. I don't know. Archer and Cage versus they do rule, but Archer and Cage is a good one for the next champions. Well, that's what I'm saying. If Private Party wins, Archer and Cage is the first thing you go to. So I see both sides, but I'd rather Private Party win so that we can just put the Bucks in whatever this. Just I don't even know. Get them away from everything. Just get them away from everything. Tell them to take a month off, quit the business, whatever it needs to do, and then Jack Perry joins Moxley and it's like, "Hey, I got my 90210 money. Let's go, bitches!" And then they party like it's 1998.
I think Private Party wins. I don't think you should be splitting Private Party in the middle of this feud with Moxley and, "Hey, we're unified with Daniel Garcia," and then you're just gonna split them, and one's gonna turn heel because that's what they're kind of teasing Stokely is trying to split them up there. It doesn't make sense to split them when they're supposed to be unified to fight Jon Moxley. It makes more sense they win the titles and they're see, and Moxley can kind of take credit in a way of good, this is what we want. We want guys who are going to fight and scrap and do so. And then Private Party can still be Private Party and no, see, we can do things our way and still win gold. Your way does not have to be the end all be all, the greater good here. Private Party winning makes a lot more sense. So I assume the Young Bucks are going to win.
And then Private Party breaks up and one of them becomes popular. Join the Moxley Act. Prove them
Young
right.
Bucks win and they're like, hey guys, we just buried another tag team on AEW Fright Night Dynamite.
My God, this sounds exactly like something that would happen. I hope you're wrong. I don't know what to do with this thing. And it's going to be the learning tree. It's going to be Jericho and Big Bill. They're going to beat up. They're going to win the tag titles from the Young Bucks.
That would rule, actually.
Would it? Well, if it happens, we're all going to cry a little bit. Anything you want to plug before we get on out of here?
I hope Chris Jericho does the bit of like, hi guys, you're watching AEW Fright Night Dynamite.
If that,
I swear, if anybody does this line, if anybody hits this line tonight,
I'm quitting if this happens, because it's just proof
that somebody important actually watches this show.
It's a bad idea. Stop watching it. It's good when you watch us fight and scream at each other, but when our stuff comes up into fruition, stop it. We are smart, but we're not that smart.
No, we're dumb as hell.
We are dumb as hell. This is a morning show. Stop it. Some people listen to us at night. That's a big enough problem. At least I don't get messages about it. Anyway, anything you want to plug?
Never. No.
Wonderful.
I gotta listen to a 3-hour Cody interview. Oh, bless Cody. That. Love Cody. I hope he just says some shit, man. Cody always says some shit. He's one of the best interviews out there. He always says some shit.
Whatever you're doing for Halloween, I hope it's a wonderful time. Stay safe. Be safe. If you're taking your kids out, have fun with that.
Yeah.
Do that stuff. Go enjoy it. I'm sure it'll be fun. Jeremy's got 27 kids to go and run after.
Yeah, so. It's not fun when there's that many.
Fun. No, it's not. It's the whole school. You hop in the school bus and go to a nicer part of town to get the full size.
I get a lot of candy though, because the kids there's certain things that they don't like, and so whatever candy they don't like, they're like, "Oh, here you go, Jeremy." I was like, "Thank you for this candy. I appreciate it."
There you go. So go and have fun. Go and be safe. Enjoy it. We're gonna take ours trick or treating for the first time. He's gonna have fun. Or he's
going as.
I'll tell you off the air because I don't want weirdos being weird about it, but it'll be fun. Do that.
An AEW wrestler.
It's gonna be an AEW wrestler. He's gonna go as Orange Cassidy. That's the way it should be. And I was gonna say also a big thanks to Grays, who helped me out with something really, really cool the other day. I just want to give them a shout out and thank them for hooking me up. That was really helpful. So for Jeremy Lambert, I am at Joel Pearl, JOELPEARL. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, enjoy Dynamite or don't. I don't care. We'll see you on Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. How about that? We'll hang out then. See you then. Cheers.
Hey guys, I'm